So, you're ready for your family vacation, But, is your vehicle ready? Hi, my name is Jennifer, and I want to help you give your vehicle a proper checkup so you can have a healthy and successful road trip. So come with me. All right, next patient, I have Emmy Ford. Hi, how are you doing today? Hi, are you Emmy's guardian? It's a pleasure to meet you. All right, if you'll both come with me, we'll get started on that examination. Just right this way. All right. Okay. All right, before we begin with the checkup, I just do need to verify some information from you real quick. All right, and what is Emmy's year? 2024, okay. And her make? Ford. Okay, and her model, Bronco Sport. Okay, alrighty. So Emmy, if you will do me a huge favor and lift up your hood, we can begin with the examination. All right, very good. Okay, all right, awesome. Okay, so first off, we're gonna check the fluids, make sure there's plenty of windshield washer fluid, coolant, oil, and brake fluid, just to make sure that everything's tip-top shape, so there aren't any issues while you're traveling. So if you wanna come with me, I'll show you. This is the windshield washer fluid right here. This is where it goes. You just pop it up. Make sure, yeah, there should be a max line where you need to fill it. Looks like it's about there. I mean, you can't really see, but it's down in there. But just make sure that you have it at the max line. So let's close that. And then also same with the coolant. See where this one does show. Looks like it is a little low, so definitely need to fill up a little bit of coolant, because there's a max line right there, so make sure that's full. And then of course you've got your oil. This is where you can check your oil to see just the dipstick, make sure that there's plenty of oil. Fortunately, I forgot a napkin. Let me see if I got one. Hang on one second. So, grab one out of here. Always. Come on. Okay, perfect. Okay. Sorry about that. Okay, so this is where you check to see. You want to make sure that it's between there, make sure that there's enough oil, and you also make sure, if it's clean or dirty. So I'll put that back in there. And so, and also, if you haven't had an oil change recently and you're going on a very long trip, I highly recommend you getting one. Either do it yourself, or I can write a prescription in order to put in for an oil change. So and have one of our clinics take care of that for you. And so just make sure that and if you do the oil change yourself, make sure you look carefully. See on here, it'll tell you what weight to use. So make sure you purchase the right oil along with an oil filter. So, and then, just make sure that everything else, all your fluids are up to par. So that way there aren't any problems. So, but yep, so the next, we'll go ahead and check the battery. Over here, that's the battery. So you want to look, if you have a multimeter like this, you can check it. I'm just going to use this for demonstrations. You just put the leads on, you know, the positive and negative, these guys right here. Sorry about that. It's all tangled. But these you can put on the connectors or on the terminals, and to determine on how the battery, you know, if it's got enough voltage and stuff. If you don't have a multimeter, then you can take it, which I can put an order in for you to take it down to an AutoZone or O'Reilly's, and they can check your battery for free. And if you need one, you can also get it there as well. So, and also too, you want to look for any corrosion on the terminals, anything yucky around here. So you want to make sure those are clean so it can get connectivity. And this little tool is a good thing to get that gunk off. You'll have to unhook the terminal, and which you use, make sure you use the negative. You take off the negative before anything. And just keep in mind when you disconnect the battery that you will lose your radio signal or radio stations and stuff like that. So be be aware of that. That will happen. So, but yeah, you just use this little brush. You clean the inside the terminal, get all the gunk out. And luckily, Emmys are clean, so that's a good thing. But if you do need to clean it off, this tool is a handy little tool. And also you can use baking soda and warm water to get the gunk off the terminal as well. And you can just dip it, and once you've disconnected it, you can dip it in there and get it all defunctified and stuff like that. So it's a good thing to check. Another thing is you want to check your air filter. It's very important that you check your air filter and make sure everything is clean. Mine happens to be right here on Emmy. It's right here. So you disconnect it. Let's see. This way. Yeah, up there. Is that it right there? Cool. Okay, so you just disconnect it. Is there more in there? But you want to check your air filter to make sure that it's clean, and if it's not clean, you'll definitely need to make sure you get a new one, or you can, if it's one that you can reuse, just take the dirt off, or make sure you can clean it off. Just make sure that there's no dirt or debris in between. Let's see if I can even get this one. Sheesh. I don't know. Let me see. This one's being a little bean. Okay. Oh, here we go. You can see what that looks like. See if I need to. Oop. Okay. Come on. Shoo, stinky. There we go. All right. So, trying not to damage anything. Okay. Okay. So this is an air filter. That don't look too bad. So it's not too shabby. So, but if there was a lot of dirt and grime and stuff in between, I would definitely recommend getting a new one. So we'll get that back in there. Come on. Come on. There we go. Okay, so those are the things, at least up here. We're gonna start here and then work all the way back to the trunk. So, but yeah, you wanna make sure you check all your fluids, check your battery, and check your air filter. Make sure everything is good. Like I said again, if you're going on a long road trip, I highly recommend getting an oil change so you can start out clean and everything like that. So, all right, but that looks good. You just need some more windshield washer fluid on that. And so Next thing is I recommend that you check your windshield wipers, because there's nothing worse than going into a rainstorm while you're traveling and your windshield wipers look like a archery bow. So you want to make sure, and this, you want to make sure that there's no banjos playing, or you're not playing an instrument. Make sure they're nice. Let's see if I can do it on this side, because this one seems to be a little bit more challenging. So, but yeah, so just make sure that they're not dry or corroded or anything like that. So you might want to think about it, if it's been a while since you've changed them, you might want to go ahead and change them. And you can actually get those anywhere, AutoZone, O'Reilly's, Walmart, or anywhere that you can find them. So just keep that in mind. Okay. So the next thing that's very important while going on a road trip is I highly recommend that you check your tires. Those are your shoes for the vehicle. You want to make sure that the tread is good, and that they're inflated, and things of that nature. So here are the tires, and you can look to see how the tread, they look pretty thick, but there's actually an old way of checking them, and oops. There's an old way of checking them, and that's using a penny, good old-fashioned Abraham Lincoln penny. And the way you can test that against the tread, make sure that there's enough meat on there, is by sticking his head and then putting it on the thread right here. I don't know if you can see that. And if you can't see his head, then you got some good meat on there. But if the forehead was showing, I would look into getting some new tires. But you might, I also recommend you getting the tire rotation and balance, so that way everything's level. And honestly, I can put in an order for that, a referral for you to go see a tire specialist to get that taken care of as well. But that's how you can tell if there's meat on there. Otherwise, if you don't have the time or anything, your local tire shop will be just as good. So, and of course you want to make sure that they're inflated, and in the should be on the door right here, on your side, on the driver's side door, it will show you it'll show you like the PSI and all that stuff. It should give you all that information. Yeah, so it should be 33 for the front, and then for the spare, which we'll get into. So both the front and the rear need to be 33 PSI. So, and you can also check that yourself if you want to, and you can use check that yourself by having one of these tools, if I can find it. By having one of this type of, it's just a tire pressure gauge. It just tells you what the PSI is on your tires and such. And you can do that easily by, let me show you right here, by taking the cap, take the little cap off, and then just sticking that in there. Just push it in, and it'll register how much air is in there. So, or like I said, if you don't have any time for any of that, you can always go. If you don't have time for that, like I said, the tire shops will do that for you as well. So just something to keep in mind. So next thing you want you want to check is going to be your headlights and your tail lights. You want to make sure that those are working. So let me see. I don't know if we're going to be able to do it here in the daylight, but let's see what we can do, shall we? So, all right. I don't know if you can see that. Uh-oh. Okay, so it looks like we can see that. So let me go ahead and turn on the lights. Okay. Okay. And, all right. So, I don't know if you can see it, but that right here shows you that the lights are on. So that one's working. And, oops, and this one is working. So we're good on the headlights. So let's go take a look and see how about the tail lights, shall we? So come with me. So, all right. Yep, and as you can see, that's working on that one. And that's working on that one. So we have headlights and tail lights. So that's a good thing. So we also need to check to see if our blinkers are working. So I'll put you back up here. And you can see, let's test the blinkers, shall we? Okay. Okay. So, oh, car may have to be started. Just kidding. Okay. Yep. So, sorry about that. Okay. So now, let's check. All right. So you can see we got the left blinker. Now let's go see if that one's working. Okay. So we know that one's working. Okay, now let's see if that one's working. Okay, yep, that one's working. Now let's go check to see if you can see them in the back. All right, yep, this one's working. So now let's see if this one works. Okay. All right, oops, sorry, see? Now you can see that that one's working as well. So, all right, so looks like all of our lights and blinkers are working. So that's awesome. So all of our lights are working. So that's a plus. So I think that is it for the outside of the vehicle. So we've checked. So let me turn this off. Turn that off too. Okay. Okay, so the next thing, I talked about checking all your tires on the outside and the lights. So right now we're gonna test out see if the brakes work, so that way if anybody's behind you, they can see your brakes come on. So let me go ahead and I will check to see if they're okay. So I'm gonna bring it down. All right, they're perfect. Okay, so give me a minute. I'm gonna start it up, and actually maybe I don't have to. Brake and brake. Okay, you should see a red light come on. So if you do, that's a good sign. So, that means that if you see the red light on the brakes, that means you got a good one. So also for the spare tire, you want to make sure that that one is in tip-top shape too. So let me put this over here, move this out of the way. Mine's in the back, or the Emmy's is on the back, so that way you can I can just lift this up, lift it out, and I can see my tire. Oops. Okay, so, all right, here is my spare tire. So it's pretty much the same thing. You want to make sure that, there's plenty of tread on there. and that's inflated as well. So I mean, it looks like it is. I don't think so you just want to make sure that there's plenty of tread. So, and if not, you definitely want to get that checked out. So, yeah. Oops, let's see. Yeah, I mean, it looks like it's a fairly good tire. So, but yeah, so just make sure your tire has good tread on it, and also that there's pressure, so that there's enough pressure. And like I said, if you need to know how much to air it, the number is on the door. It'll tell you how much for the fronts and how much for the rears and how much for the spares. So just keep an eye on that. So alrighty, so let's go ahead and check inside, shall we? Because not only do you have to check the outside, there are some things that you do need to check on the inside. I know it's crazy. I know you're like, what the heck, really? But trust me, just stay with me. All right, let's go inside. Okay, like I said, so not only do we need to make sure everything checks out on the outside, but we also need to make sure that things are okay on the inside. And that means checking some things. So first thing we're going to do is start the vehicle. So give me just a second, get a little short. So all right, so let's see if it powers up. I've got the push button. Some cars have the, some cars have the push button, and some cars have just a good old-fashioned key. So all right, so first of all, this looks like it started up well, so that checks out. Okay, so what you want to do is first make sure that all the gauges, there's no indicator lights, like the check engine or the tire pressure sensor, or the seatbelt one is on because I don't have my seatbelt on at the moment. But this one is for the headlights, which you want to make sure those are on too, that those go off and go on. So those look good. Make sure everything is lit up to where you can see it. You want to make sure that your blinkers, that the little thing works. Having a brain fart, sorry. The signal knob, and of course making sure that the windshield wipers work and that the windshield washer fluid works. Bada bing, bada boom. So all right, so that's good. So I know that sounds crazy, but it is important, especially when you are traveling. It may not seem like it is, but it is. Because if any of these things weren't working properly, it would definitely impede your traveling. So you want to make sure. And also, very important is your control panel needs to work. You want to make sure that your heater, that you're powered on. Oops, just kidding, come on. Make sure that's working, and make sure that if you have it on heat, that you're getting heat, and if you're having it on the AC, that you are getting cool air as well. Because and make sure that the defroster is working. So that's a little defroster. So make sure that that's working too, because there's nothing worse than traveling, either if you're doing it for the winter time or for the cold. You need to make sure that your heating or air works, because you don't want to freeze during the winter time and sweat profusely during the summertime. So got to make sure those climate controls are working good as well. So, and making sure that the defroster works during the winter time, because it would make things challenging to have to get the ice off. Even if you do get the ice with the ice scraper, you still need to make sure you have the defroster, because that'll help. So make sure that those are working as well. Make sure your lights, the light switches inside work, and of course make sure that you know, you've got, you know, those are working as well. So your dome light. And another thing you want to check that is your cabin air filter. Now, a lot of them are usually in the glove box. You'd have to take this out, and it should be behind there. So you might want to replace that too, because that'll, you know, keep that clean, because you don't want any stinky funk inside your car while you're traveling. Shoo! Yeah, I know what that smells. That smells not good. So, but yeah. So just, I know it's silly, but you know, make sure too that your windows roll up, or windows roll down. My bad. Windows roll up, and make sure that it does the same thing for that. You know, make sure all the windows, you're able to roll them up and roll them down. And you know, same with the mirror. Like this is my mirror. So you just check, make sure that you've got, oh, you turn that, and then it turns in and out. You know, make sure you've got that you can do that as well. You know, make sure the doors lock. Yeah, because you gotta make sure. I know it's silly, but you know, there's you know, a process to, you know, my craziness. So you know, those things I just, you know, recommend that you check and you know, make sure that everything's working properly before hitting the road. So well, okay, well, everything checks out normal for Emmy. I don't see why you all can't go on your journey and your family trip. She should be, she's ready to go, ready, willing, and able. So I hope you have a safe and successful journey while traveling on your vacation. And I hope you know, I hope you all have a good time. And and also, if you have any other questions that you would like to ask me, just go ahead and leave them in the comments. I will answer them the best of my knowledge. So, all right. Until then, safe travels, and we'll talk again later.